Good morning, Americans and humans. This is your favorite alien here on the morning of Tuesday, January 20th, 2023. And it's the 54th anniversary of Neil Armstrong's A Small Step for Man, a Giant Leap for Mankind. Well, Mr. Armstrong, if you're up there with the boss listening, and Mr. Aldrin, you're still here with us. I sure wish I met you before you pass away. But speaking as an alien from another planet, I don't think that remark that was done by Mr. Armstrong back in 1969 amounted to a hill of beans to you humans, and especially Americans. Heck, your government threw you under the bus for whatever reasons they did, canceled the program, heck, even shut down their shuttle program, and were required by Russia to take them to their own space station. Oh boy. So now Russia says, well, we can control the station because for 10 years we had to taxi you up, even though you paid $20 million to get you up there. But in today's world, Mr. Aldrin and Mr. Armstrong and the boss up there, the Americans, the Chinese, the Russians, and all the other humans on this planet still have watermelons in their heads. There's never been a natural society developed on this planet. It's always been us versus them, and there's a lot of us's and a lot of them's. And to give you an example of what would happen, if I were here and put my ship in orbit right now in the 21st century, I got 37 ships that were around your moon on July 22nd, 2065. 37 ships. The Mushka had 18. They only needed 2 to subjugate you. 2! But we had more than enough to really push the Mushka out of your solar system and give them heavy losses. But as their communications that they sent me from their commander of the fleet that they had, the 18 ships, Interior's not going to interfere. And I told my communications officer, open the channel. And like you see in Star Trek, we do have the capability of direct view. And as I told my counterpart from the Mushka, not this time, they're all yours. And I had a heavy heart when I did that. But I had to follow orders from my superiors that said, why should we interfere in the affairs of those stupid humans who don't have anything good to contribute to the universe? Spending 50 plus years on your planet since 1970 here, I could say you do. But your leadership and the way you run your countries and nation states say otherwise. And the people that came from my planet in 2030 to 35 to study you guys, they stuck with their original hypothesis that no, you don't. So therefore, my orders were strict. I stood by and watched your planet get destroyed by 2 ships. They destroyed all available armies on here. 4 minutes, that's all it took. And then they went back to saturating the Earth with their own nuclear power plants with radiation. It would take about a year or so, a year and a half, to radiate the entire planet. They didn't want to use their own weapons to destroy this planet. They wanted to destroy it by your own means. Now, for the Mushka to do that to me shows a lot of hatred. Okay? Because they had hatred for you guys. I mean, they were the originally members of this planet. You guys are secondary. But you don't understand that. Wherever you guys came from, and it wasn't from us, at least so far, our scientists say no. But in the future, we might find the missing link. But we don't have one right now. So, you guys came from someplace else, probably the Watchers or the Spreaders, one of those two civilizations. The Spreaders, because they went spreading their seed all over the place and didn't care what happened, they just spread it over 1 billion years ago. But back to the point of you guys. If I were to do what Gene Roddenberry's successors, who started the new program called Star Trek: A Strange New World, and do what Captain Pike in that first episode did, if I were to beam myself into a General Assembly, say in August, your General Assembly here in what you call the United Nations, and I call that a big joke because it's not united and they're not nations. Oh boy. If I were to beam myself over there and show my 2 ships out of the fleet that I had, say bring them down the atmosphere, just like he brought the Enterprise down in that program, I got the bigger stick, don't I? Yeah. But what would that do to you countries like you, United States, China, and Russia for one thing, and don't forget about those rogue nations of North Korea and Iran, and India, who has the capability of nuclear power. And you got the British and the French, which would side with their use of nuclear forces with the United States. And the first thing the United States military would say is, we gotta nuke the hell out of those ships! Knowing that my ships have shields, and we can protect our shields because our shields can generate energies upwards of 200 million terawatts. Do you understand, Americans? 200 million and plus. If we combine all our ships, we can make a shield that's over 1 billion terawatts of power. 1 billion. Do you have enough atomic weapons to go through 1 billion? By the time that we shoot our phasers, we can shoot them at 500 billion terawatts, which would destroy your planet. Is that what you want? Or would you talk to each other and say, we have to change our societies, because I won't interfere in your societies, but I will take the order and call the Mushka in and have them destroy you instead of me. Because my orders are do not interfere, and I'm not interfering. I'm just telling them, hey, you're looking for them, I found them for you. That's not interfering. That's saying, I owe you from our last war that we beat you so badly, so here it is. You can take these guys. I know you got a little beef with them that goes back a few million years. And 70,000 years ago, you guys almost destroyed each other. The civilization on Earth was almost wiped out. They had to hightail it back to their home, and it took them centuries and millennia to get back to normal. Because they lost billions, and you guys lost billions 70,000 years ago. They're looking for revenge. And you guys are looking to get self-destructive because you guys don't understand what it is to be human and a human society. China wants what China wants, especially what the Communist Party wants. The United States is not a United States anymore. It's an extremist Republican, extremist Democrat. And the Russians, well, you got Putin. That explains that right there. We know about Iran and we know about South Korea. China tells them, jump, boy, and they say, how high, sir? And they go. But it's up to you humans from this entire planet. Do you want these nations to control you to the extent that your life gets extinct because of their stupidity? Or do you want to form a human race? War you can't avoid. There's going to be people in there that hate you. The Mushka is number one, but there's other species that you guys got to watch out for. Because they like to take planets and conquer them. The universe is not peaceful. There is patches of peacefulness in the universe. At least the galaxy, the 20% that we have explored. And we have developed some peaceful portions of it. And there's other societies that think the same way. We're not united with them. They're not united with us. But we do occasionally talk to each other and say, okay, you got this problem on your borders. We got that problem on our borders. And how do we handle it? Because we respect their governing ways. They respect ours. We may not like theirs. But then again, there's no 100% true governing body. We got problems with ours, they got problems with theirs. You have a lot of problems with yours. You're not even, I don't think you're even 25%. You were at one time close to 30, but you have in the last century reverted back to under 20. So what do you say, humans? Are you going to tell your nation states you're going to wait for 40 more years? Or would you like me to, when I pass away here, to make a slight detour and come back to the 21st century and make a phone call to the Mushka on this 40 years before the other ones come? Hey, you want them? Here they are. Yo-ho! I can do that for you. That way your kids don't have to wait for the disaster that awaits it. What do you say? This is your favorite alien saying, what is it going to take to get your watermelons off your brains? Whether you're Americans, Chinese, Russians, or any other country in the world. What is it going to take to get those stupid watermelon and the way you think out of your brains and start thinking new? We got to form a society. We don't want war, but we got to make sure that we are there for people that come in outside of us. Us is all humans. Them is them. And then you got to determine how much of them becomes part of us. And how much of us becomes part of them. And therefore them becomes us. And that's the way you unite the galaxy. But it takes a long time. Probably longer than I have lifetimes here. But it's up to you guys. Yeah? Or you can put me in file 13 and say, to hell with it. And then, hey, I'll just sit there when I go and when this body croaks and I go back to my own ship in 2066, and I'll just turn around, bring those 300,000 people that I felt sorry for and dump them on the earth because that's the way they should stay, on their home planet. We don't need them to disseminate some of their problems to other people and cause more problems. See what I mean? Thinkings that we have to change on both sides. But, heck, you guys are not willing to make the first step, so we'll let the Mushka get their revenge on you. Good day.